Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. Today I have a pick a card reading that is all about a message from your spirit guides, something they want to tell you right now. As you can see, I have 3 different piles for us to pick from, like usual. For my lovely pile number 1s, I have the card Synchronicity. For my pile number 2s, I have Observe. And last but not least, my pile number 3s, I have the card Surrender for you today. So feel free to meditate on these 3 different cards, see which one calls to you the most, and whenever you have decided which pile you want read for you today, as always, drop down to the description box below or the pinned comment at the top of the comment section to click on the timestamp for your reading, and I will see you in your message from your spirit guides. Bye! Hello, pile number 1s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about a message from your spirit guides, something they want to tell you right now at this moment when you are watching this video. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile was the card Synchronicity. Synchronicity. So if you're not familiar with the term synchronicity, it's all about things that seem to just align in our lives that seem to be more than mere coincidences. So, for example, let's say you get a reading that says something about, pay attention to symbols of owls in your life, just as an example. And all of a sudden, after you hear that, you start hearing, seeing, or thinking about, owls in your day-to-day life, kind of as a, that's funny that thing that I was told to look out for keeps popping up. So that is a synchronicity pile number 1s. So I get the feeling that already, based on the pile leader you picked, part of the message from your spirit guides today is all about looking for those signs that not only do they have your back and things are being set in motion that are supposed to be set in motion, but also in general, I think it's about easing worries because they want to tell you you have more support from them in the universe in general than maybe you believe that you do right now. But let's get to your other cards to get more nitty-gritty details, as I always call them. So first up, we have your oracle cards. I'm going to set your tarot cards down here with me till the end. We have your Healing Spirits Oracle you received. Well, this is a lovely card. Your life plan is unfolding as it should. Your life plan is unfolding as it should. And, that is always a really comforting message to get, pile number 1s. A lot of times, when we come to tarot readings or in general, when we're looking for answers in life, our first question is, what am I doing wrong? What is the answer to this particular thing that I'm worried about? What's the solution to this thing that I want to solve, etc. A bunch of different things that people come to tarot readings for. But one of the most comforting answers we can actually receive during a tarot reading is just what you got here, which is, like I said, your life plan is unfolding as it should. So this is kind of what I was talking about with the synchronicity card over here. I think your spirit guides want you to know that there's a lot more happening in the background and you have a lot more support than you think you do. I don't know if recently you've been worrying a lot about where you are at in life, or if you've come across a lot of obstacles or a lot of confusion about where you want to go. It could be career, could be with romance, could be just life in general. But things are going as they're supposed to. And that is, like I said, kind of one of the most comforting things to hear. Because, there are tarot readings I give people that say, hey, person that's coming to this tarot reading, you need to do A, B, C, to get to the point or the thing that you're asking about or to find the solution that you're looking for. But this is a very relaxing reading because it's just saying it's something that you're not alone on, and that the universe and your spirit guides and the other beings that, depending on your beliefs and how you see spirituality, help you have your back. And it's not all a burden upon just yourself to fix or to find the answers or solutions for. So I hope that is a very helpful message for you, pile number 1s, just coming out right off the bat with the Healing Spirits Oracle here. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of signs here, especially with your synchronicity card, that they have been helping you. It's maybe that you just haven't been able to see it yet, because maybe the life you're leading right now is just so hurried or stressed out that you're not like maybe necessarily looking for those signs, but this is a confirmation from your spirit guides, pile number ones, that they are looking out for you. They are sending signs. It's just that maybe you don't always see them because, when we get into the hubbub of life, things get kind of crazy and helter-skelter. We don't always notice that we have support waiting in the wings, is how I would put that. So, and especially if you're worried about where you're at in life right now, this card here, your life plan is unfolding as it should, is just a confirmation from your spirit guides that not to worry so much about where you're at. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, depending on your beliefs, but at least in my belief, I think that we plan our lives before we come here. And where you're at right now, pile number ones, is exactly where you plan to be before you incarnated here on Earth, at least if you believe in reincarnation like I do. So either way, there's a plan, there's a reason, there's a rhyme to this. Nothing ever happens without a reason is kind of what they're trying to convey to you, pile number ones. So, if that's kind of where your worry has been, when you come to this reading and you're viewing this, pile ones, just know that everything is going as it's supposed to. So, just kind of, it's almost kind of I see like your spirit guides coming to you and with a basket, and they're asking you to put your worries in the basket to kind of let them handle it. So depending on what you are really seeking, it could be, like I said, romance, career, general things you might kind of worry about. Just know that there is always that willingness from your spirit guides to help you with those things. And like I said, that reminder that where you are right now is exactly where you should be. So, let's look at your other oracle cards. Tarot card down here. I'll put that back with the tarot cards and then we'll read those at the end. Let's see, you have, from your Lantern Oracle, broken dreams. Only you can accept or reject your dreams. Only you can accept or reject your dreams, pile number ones. And then we have surrender to rest and sleep. To prevent burnout, slow down, honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of stress, pile number ones, right now. You probably are on the edge of burnout at your job or just in your day-to-day life right now. Hence why you're getting this message from your spirit guides to rest and sleep. Especially depends on where you're at in the U.S. here, or in the world, but at least in the U.S. Like at the time I'm recording this is Thanksgiving week, and oftentimes people have time off during that week. So if that's the case for you, really take advantage of time off here around the end of the year, pile number ones. You're being very much so encouraged not to worry so much. To let your spirit guides in the universe hold a little bit more of the burden instead of just feeling like you have to hold it all yourself. And then before I read your Lantern Oracle, I'm going to pull out your tea leaves here, and you received handshake and bell. So handshake is a meeting with a stranger could be important, and the bell is an announcement. A meeting with a stranger could be important, and the bell is an announcement. It's kind of what it says on the tin, pile number ones. I think another message here from your spirit guides is there's some sort of news coming your way, and it has to do with someone you don't know yet, because it says a meeting with a stranger could be important. If you're looking for career-related developments right now, pile number ones, this could be a job offer or at least some new direction in that area. It could also be, if this is like romance that you're kind of been worrying about more lately, pile number ones, this could be, a stranger coming into your life that will play a part romantically, so a new partner perhaps. And the announcement is interesting. I don't know if some of you are soon to get married. Maybe there's something here with a wedding planner, or there's someone in your family that's going to get married and they're going to announce it. Something along those lines where there's a stranger involved and something is going to be announced. Now, your Broken Dreams card, I think that's related to kind of the message that was with your pile leader, and then your Healing Spirits Oracle here with your life plan is unfolding as it should. I don't know if you've had a lot of grieving lately, pile number ones. Perhaps you have been so burnt out because you've been working really hard towards something and it just feels like nothing is going the way that it should, you know, especially here with the symbolism of like the egg that's shattered here. Could be in general like the loss of some new thing in your life. It depends, as a general reading, it's going to differ for everybody. So, you know, a new egg could be a new relationship that maybe you've been kind of grieving over losing, or sorry, not a new relationship, but the newness of grief over a relationship recently lost. This is something that's happened in the past, I'm saying, so don't fear that like a relationship is going to be broken here. That's not what this is saying, but I misspoke, sorry. Yeah, so it could have been a recent relationship that broke off, that it seemed like it was just starting to take off, but it just kind of died in its infancy. It could also be maybe a business idea that didn't quite take off the way that you thought it would. It could be a lot of struggles with love life or career right now. In general, this has been a time of a bit of grief and burden and feeling stressed out, I can see, for you pile number ones. So your spirit guides are acknowledging that stress and that pain, and they're just reminding you that like no matter how alone you feel and no matter how dark it seems, they're always at your back, because like I said, with synchronicity and your life plan is unfolding as it should, you're surrounded by, and everyone is surrounded by a team of guides, at least in my belief, that help them behind the wings, you know, behind the scenes. Even if you feel like you're alone, you're never technically actually alone. And everything happens for a reason. You know, just because we go through periods of time in our life that are dark, or is kind of like the night, there's always the dawn and the sunrise at the end, right? So that's another message I think that they want to convey to you, pile number ones, is that things don't always stay negative or broken or sad forever. There's always hope at the end. There's always light. So, yeah, just focus on your rest and your sleep, pile number ones. Pay special attention to burnout, taking care of yourself. Focus on self-love and self-care and health. Just know that dark times or hard times don't last forever. You have your spirit guides at your back. They're very close to you now, I can see, surrounding you. They understand what you've been going through. And, you know, I'm trying to see with the synchronicity card if there's any common things popping out here for you to pay attention to in your waking life, in terms of like symbols of synchronicity, like a sign that, oh, hey, we're here, a message that your spirit guides give you to say, hey, you know, we're always by you. I'm not seeing anything pop out quite yet, but let's see what your tarot cards say. So let's look at what you got here. All right, so the first three tarot cards are, you have the Five of Cups. So, yep, that's what I was saying before. I think you've been having a lot of grief lately, pile number ones. A lot of sadness is what I'm seeing. Not only with your Broken Dreams card here, you know, this figure here, she's crying, but also the Five of Cups is a card of grief. Could be you've been dealing with a lot of depression lately, a lot of anxiety, perhaps a lot of sorrow in terms of the loss of something. Generally, that's kind of what the Five of Cups talks about when it pops up, is something has been darkening your door in terms of emotions. But, you know, the twist with the Five of Cups here is it doesn't last forever, because as you can see here with the Five of Cups, pile number ones, yes, technically he's spilled four of them, but there's still one cup that he's not paying attention to. He's not even looking. He's looking down. He's not looking up and saying, hey, there's this hope here. There's still this thing, this cup that's full that I'm just not paying attention to. So that's the blessing or the silver lining of the Five of Cups, pile number ones, is what I was saying before with your oracle cards. there's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a dawn at the end of the night, right? And that's the beautiful aspect of the Five of Cups is, yes, there's that silver lining of don't give up hope. There's still that one cup that hasn't been overturned, so to speak. Now, the Hierophant here is interesting, along with the Three of Wands. I get the sense your spirit guides are saying something about, like, this has been kind of a tradition for you of this sorrow, this grief. Perhaps one of the reasons you've been having such a hard time is it just feels like you've been being dealt, like, blow after blow. Like, life just keeps handing you kind of a bad or a raw deal, right? And so it's kind of shaking. It could even be shaking your faith in spirituality in general or your hope in life. Like, it just feels like everything's just kind of confusing and, like, you know, why does this keep happening to me? You know, does it ever get better? Like, that's the kind of sentiments I'm hearing from you, pile number ones, here from your spirit guides regarding these cards. Because the Hierophant is the card of, well, not only spirituality, but also traditions, right? So it's something that's like, it's shaking your faith, the sorrow recently, and, or it's kind of shaking your beliefs in a way, like, you know, maybe you used to be a lot more hopeful about the world, or you used to be a lot more happy about what was going on, but just because of this recent string of raw deals you've been getting from the universe, it seems it's really shaking and making you question deep down thoughts or beliefs or ideas that you've had. And what's telling here too is the Three of Wands reversed is this is the card of normally moving on into the future, but the Three of Wands reversed is the card of feeling hesitant or uncertain. I don't know if you've had a lot of delays lately because of this time of sorrow and this time of lack of hope or faith in something. This lack of connectedness to who you were before this time of sorrow, right? But it seems like it's creating a lot of issues with moving on into the future and reaching forward. It's like, it's interesting because normally the Two of Wands, which is the card right before the Three of Wands, is about the card about making plans, and the Three of Wands is that action movement of, okay, I have the plans, now I'm setting out. But like I said, reversed, it's like not moving forward with those plans, not going ahead because we feel so entrenched here with the Five of Cups energy of this grief and this sadness just holding us down. So spirit guides are acknowledging that they hear that and they see that from you, pile number ones, that, you're not alone in your sorrows, and they completely understand what's going on. And they're, like I said with your oracle cards before, they are around you all the time, and, you're not alone in suffering with this. They get it 100%. Okay, and then your last three cards here, I also pull some more cards just to get some more context too, but at least the cards I pulled before I started, the recording, were the Ace of Swords, the World reversed, yep, okay, yeah, that makes sense, and the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Yeah, so their advice to you, pile number ones, regarding this time of sorrow, this maybe lack of faith or hope in what you thought you wanted or who you used to be, or even just like a shaking in your faith and having hope for the future in general, it comes to an end, right? So, because the Wheel of Fortune reversed is a card of fate, it's a card of karma, it's a card of what goes up comes down, and vice versa. It's the card of nothing lasts forever. So they're saying that similar message that I told you before with your oracle cards is not to, as hard as it is, as difficult as it is to think that there's a way out of this grief here, because like you could see, I'll just flip it over for a second so you can see clear, because this figure over here is like you right now, right? You're in this time of sorrow. Things are not going your way. You can see around her, it's like winter. She's dressed in rags, just not having a great time, right? And then over here, though, on the other side of the Wheel of Fortune, you have someone who is, well-dressed. The trees are fruiting behind her. She even has abundant fruit at her feet. And so that's the whole meaning of the Wheel of Fortune, is what goes up comes down. and what goes down comes up. And that's always the promise of life, right? There's always, like I said, there's always dawn after the darkness. So this advice card from your spirit guides, pile number 1s, is to not focus so much on, like, they're not saying don't acknowledge your grief, but they're saying just know that, like I said, nothing lasts forever. And the fate, or the wheel of fate, or the way that fortune turns can always turn around, and it usually always does. So that combined with the world reversed here is, I see a sense of maybe you're just asking and hoping, like, well, when does this phase end? Because the world is the end of the major arcana, and that's the end of a journey, right? It's the end of a certain phase of our life, and it's like you feel like you're still just stuck in this old phase of this sadness or this downturn of luck, right? But they're telling you, because these are the advice cards here, it is to not focus so much on the end of this phase or when will my luck turn, but to just know, because they have your back and they're giving you this reassurance that things will get better, pile number 1s. And then the Ace of Swords here is interesting as an advice card, because, the swords are the cards of, it's the suit of air, which is the suit of the mind, logic, communication. What could really help you, pile number 1s, is to think of a time in your life where things did turn around when you thought that they never would. I get the sense that maybe this has happened to you before, maybe not with the same exact circumstances, but it has happened to you before in some way where you can at least kind of extrapolate, like, the same lesson onto what's going on now. And maybe at that time, the same way you thought, oh, I'm never going to get out of this phase is never going to end. But if you take a step back and you think about it logically, be like, well, actually, I did have a phase earlier in my life that did come to an end that was negative, and I finally got into, the summer, a summer after a winter, metaphorically speaking, right? After a time of sorrow and a time of grief, or what just felt like bad luck, right? And also just knew that new energy in the mind is coming in here too, because the Ace is like the beginning, or kind of like the offering of new mental energy in a different interpretation. So if you've been struggling with a lot of mental health problems recently, this is also a confirmation and a suggestion to kind of think about and look forward to and work on improving your mental health in any way that you can, to help get past this phase of feeling like I'm stuck, I can't move forward, with that 3 of Wands reversed energy we had up here, I'm sad, bad things are happening, I feel like I can't move forward, this phase isn't ending, etc., those types of thoughts. And, just keep going forward by focusing on, like I said, your self-care with rest and sleep, right? But also with a clearer mind and a clearer departure from that time of sorrow, which I know, the spirit guides aren't saying that, like, it's an easy thing to get over with, obviously when we're grieving, grieving takes as long as it takes, right? But just focus on, like, one little mental step a day, like, for example, if it's maybe self-esteem you've been struggling with as a mental thing that's been weighing you down, think about one way to compliment yourself one day, like, oh, hey, I really like my hair today, or, I really like the way that I did that thing at work today, like, I was actually really good at that, or, or if it's depression, for example, just focus on one little tiny thing at a time, like, I just want to wash my hair today, even just something as simple as that, as bathing, or, like brushing your teeth, or little things of self-care. Like I was saying, your spirit guides are advising you to focus on those right now, no matter kind of what stage your grief or your time of sorrow is at. And, because progress isn't always, an immediate leap from, I'm down to, oh, everything's great. Usually it's tiny little mental steps that help us get better. And over time, it's easier to see the bird's eye view of progress. And even though while we're actually in the trenches of it, it feels like maybe we're not making much progress at all. So that's another suggestion I hear from your spirit guides, pile ones, is to also look back and reflect on logically how far that you've come or how much you've endured. Because I think you're a lot stronger than you think you are, pile ones. And then let me look at your synchronicity card here because that's, like I said, that's a card of seeing signs from your spirit guides. That's like a sign from them to you. See if there's any repeated symbols here. Sorry, I'm going to be quiet for just a moment while I'm looking. I'm getting told something about clocks. Pile ones. Something with clocks or like time as a synchronicity symbol from your spirit guides to you. So just pay special attention to that. Yeah, especially because like the bell before too, because bells traditionally were used to like chime the hour, and then you also have like, you know, like your synchronicity card also has like well, phases of the moon technically, but that's also like the passage of time. But then you also have like the world and the wheel. So I'm getting a lot about clocks, they're telling me. So pay attention to that as a symbol of synchronicity, okay, pile number ones? I just want to get one more card for you as advice, pile ones. I'm going to pull out my deck here. Spirit guides of pile number ones, could you give me one more card from tarot for them, please? That's one more card of advice before I wrap up the reading for today. Okay, well, can't take 10 cards, unfortunately. That one for sure is popping up. The Magician. That is a lovely card to get, pile number ones. Yes. That is the card of as above, so below. That is, you know, a lot of the things that they're doing to help you that you may not see behind the scenes, pile number ones, are things that will be manifested to you whenever you're ready for it, to move past this time and turn that Three of Wands reversed energy of I feel uncertain, I feel stuck, into upright energy of, okay, now I'm ready to move into the future. Because the Magician is someone that takes something from above and manifests it below. Because you can see he's got a wand, he's got a sword, he's got a cup, and he's got a wheel, which is the pentacles in this particular deck. He's got everything he needs. Like, there's nothing fundamentally, like, wrong with him. There's nothing fundamentally that he can't do. It's just, and everything is being offered for him to manifest this whatever it is that he's looking to fix or whatever he's looking to create from above. So that's that energy from your spirit guides helping you behind the scenes that you're not necessarily seeing, like I said, manifesting to help fix this time for you in your day-to-day life, pile number ones. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of messages of things are waiting in the wings. Things are being fixed behind the scenes. Just keep moving forward, you know, one step at a time. But it seems like a lot of this is in the hands of your spirit guides, pile number ones. Just remember, though, that on your end to focus on self-care. To focus on healing yourself, taking time for yourself to relax and, you know, sleep and, you know, soothe your heart a bit from this time of darkness. And, you know, just take it one little step at a time each and every day. So, pile number ones, I hope that reading from your spirit guides was helpful for you. As always, I hope to see you in another reading at some point, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Hello, pile number twos. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about what your spirit guides want to tell you right now, right at this moment that you're watching this video. As you recall, the card used to help pick your pile was the card Observe. So let's look at that for a little bit. We have, it looks like a bed suspended between two pillars here. And there's a key underneath. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there's a key in the surroundings. So pile number two is already just from your pile leader card today. I think your spirit guides are trying to send at least one message surrounding something you need to pay more attention to, is what I'm seeing. There's some sort of key in your environment that's available to you as a solution to something you're looking for, and they want you to pay more attention to find it because the answer is already in your surroundings. So that is already kind of the first theme or message we're getting here today from your spirit guides, pile number 2s. Pay more attention to something. Obviously, your other cards will give us some more details. I'm going to set your tarot cards down here with me for a spell. And we'll just look at your oracle cards for now. So first up, we have your Healing Spirits card, and you received, same as pile number 1's today. I guess this is a common message amongst all the piles today. Your life plan is unfolding as it should. Everything is going as it should. Now, sometimes it doesn't feel like it, especially when we come across obstacles or things that make us sad or get in our way or make us frustrated, etc. But this is a reassurance from your spirit guides that everything is unfolding as it should. Let's get your other oracle cards down and get more details on that. We also have your surrender card. Oopsie, your tea leaf fell. I'm going to set that down here actually for a second. Your surrender card. Surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. So that's kind of similar to your life plan is unfolding as it should message there. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. I have faith that all is well is the affirmation from that card. And then your, there's another tarot card here, oops. Set that down here with me. And then your Lantern Oracle is Lantern. Bit of a title drop. We have Lantern. Consciousness is light. Yep, shedding light on something, paying attention to something that you haven't been looking at closely enough. Pile number 2 is what your spirit guides are trying to point out to you. And it's something not physically looking, as you can see she's blindfolded here. It's something that we either don't want to look at because we're afraid it will cause change in our life, hence the surrender fear of change, or it's something we haven't perceived yet that could lead us to positive change, pile number 2s. Okay. So let me look at these for a bit, and then, your tea leaves too. Your tea leaves are Owl, good advice from a wise person, and we have Not, unsuccessful plans. Alright, so pile number 2, what I'm already getting from your oracle cards here is this matter of the answer that you're looking for, or it's something that's an answer that you don't even know that you should be looking for yet, hence kind of the blindfold imagery here with the Lantern card. It's something to do with something that didn't go to plan, or at least you thought it didn't, and you got advice from someone on it, or you will, hence your tea leaf cards here, because it says good advice from a wise person, unsuccessful plans. There's been a little bit of a kink in the issue here, hence like the knot in the rope, right? And or it's something that you're worried about, there's going to be some sort of obstacle or kink in the plan. Right now they're telling you this is a time to slow down a bit and look around at your surroundings for that key, that thing you're just not glimpsing quite yet as the solution to these unsuccessful plans. And part of this key is this good advice from a wise person. So I don't know if someone already offered you some advice here recently, pile number 2s, or they shortly will after you view this reading, but when that wise person comes along and offers you advice, they're telling you to follow it in order to help these unsuccessful plans. Okay, pile number 2s? And it could be that there's a little bit of an initial gut, ooh, I don't want to listen to that when that advice comes, because that fear of change. So I don't know if someone's going to come to you and say, I don't think you're very happy at the job that you're at right now, or in the relationship you're in right now, or in the house that you're in right now, or living situation, etc. There's something in your life where they might say, hey, from an outside perspective, I don't think that this thing is working out for you. And like I said, that gut instinct might be, go, ugh, not wanting to listen to it because there's a fear of change. Because change is scary, right, pile number 2s? It's not easy to make change. It is not easy to uproot ourselves in any way and move to greener pastures, because there's always that fear of, well, how do I know that it's a greener pasture beyond where I'm at now? What if where I'm at now is what's best? How do I know that there's better out there, right? But when that advice comes along, they're telling you to follow that. Pile number 2s is what your spirit guides are saying. And when that advice comes along, that key that you should be observing when it happens, yes, have that gut reaction of, ooh, not sure I want to listen to that, but think about it and really weigh it. Really think about your options. Think about what that person says to you. And look at it not so much from that gut instinct perspective, pile 2s. Mull over it and think about how it aligns with what you really want deep down, maybe even in a way that you haven't admitted to yourself yet, pile 2s. Because with this card here, the lantern card, she's got the blindfold. Sometimes the truth or the things that we really want or the change we really need is hard to look at. But we know if we look at it with a blindfold, excuse the pun because you can't really look at anything with a blindfold, but you know what I mean? We look at it from a logical perspective and not so much that gut instinct reaction of, ooh, I don't like change. That we know that that's the right answer deep down. So just pay attention to that, pile number 2s, okay? Observe. Pay attention to advice that you get. Don't fear change. Change can be a very good thing, Oftentimes, really what change is just giving ourselves an opportunity for something better. Okay? And then your life plan is unfolding as it showed is an interesting card here. Like I said, pile number 1's also got this, so I guess this is kind of a very common theme today. Your life plan is unfolding as it should. This could even be a major life lesson for you, pile number 2s. This could be a pattern of fearing change in your life. It could be that you've been staying in this place of maybe not necessarily being happy deep down for a long time because of this fear of change. And part of your life lesson is learning to overcome that fear and weigh deep down what you want in your heart and try to find those greener pastures, okay? So, because a life plan is basically like, depending on your beliefs, but at least in my beliefs, before we come here to Earth, we say to ourselves, okay, I'm going to inhabit this body, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to learn that, and that. And so one of the lessons that you likely decided upon before you incarnated here, pile number 2s, is overcoming the fear of change. And this part of your life right now, your spirit guides are saying are to observe and take advice and weigh it blindly. Not so much from a logical or an immediate gut instinct, ooh, I don't like change. Really deeply think about it when that advice comes along, okay? All right, I'm going to grab your tarot cards out here first. Let's get some more details on the situation. We have, first up, the Star. Yep, hope or faith in something. We have the Knight of Cups reversed. All right. Maybe a little bit of a loss of idealism here. And then we have the Fool reversed. Yep, we're afraid of change. Change is scary because if we reach for that thing, well, actually, let me flip that. It's a little easier for you to see. If we reach for that change, if we reach for that light, there's a cliff there. What if I fall off? Like that immediate fear of, oh no. Because the Fool is a card of, it's the beginning and the end. It's 0, right? Infinity. Throughout our lives, in multiple aspects, we can start as a fool. And then by the end, when we start a new journey or a new lesson in life, we're a fool once again. We're always learning. We're always the fool, right? So it seems that this recent situation for you, pile number 2, is your spirit guides are saying that there's been a reluctance to start that new lesson. There's been a reluctance to go forward because of a fear of change or risk here, especially the Fool, because the Fool is usually on the edge of a cliff, and that's, well, I could take that leap of faith. I could have hope in that, hence the Star, but I'm really uncertain. I'm not sure how I want to go forward. And what if I fall? What if I face plant? What if I trip and fail? But honestly, pile number 2 is the only way that you can fail is to never try. You never, ever, ever fail if you try. Yes, you can make mistakes, and yes, things might not work out exactly the way that you expected them to, but as long as you try, there's no failure. At least in terms of soul lessons and, the way that your spirit guides see it, pile number 2s. So the situation is, you're stuck between really hoping for something, but there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of fear of risk. And your spirit guides are saying to let go of that fear, to overcome it and really listen to what you want deep down. Hence the Knight of Cups reversed, because, the cups are the heart, the emotions, the things that we feel. And right now you're not listening to what you feel enough because you're so afraid of, well, what do I do if I take that leap? So that's the fear of, a new journey is, well, what if it fails? But like I said, your spirit guides are saying, as long as you tried, you never failed. The only way you can fail with 100% certainty is to never try. So it could be that the reason why you fear this is because you've already had bad luck in this area, hence unsuccessful plans. Because a lot of times when we come across situations that make us fear, it's because we've had a similar situation in the past that, it's kind of like when you're a kid and you touch a hot stove and you learn, ouch, that hurt, right? And then you learn, oh God, I'm never going to touch a hot stove with bare skin again. So what happens in your life is, with other things, like for example, if this is romance, let's say you got really badly burned by a prior relationship and you're really afraid to try again, even though there's someone that's appeared in your life that is someone that you think that you would be interested in, right? But there's just that fear holding you back because you got burned in the past. Or it could be, related to like a job. So perhaps maybe there's a new project coming up at work that you've been assigned. And the last time you got assigned a project like this, it just did not go well. It just kind of, I'm going to swear, maybe it was just a shit show. And you're like, I really don't want another shit show on my plate here. But Spirit is saying here to not let your past adventures or past experiences, sorry I said adventures because I was thinking about, the Fool's Journey, right? Setting out on an adventure. Don't let your past experiences taint your hope for the future, to follow your heart and where you think you want to go. Because I think you do know deep down that this is what you want. It's just that you're so afraid of being burned and having hope that you're almost afraid to even try. So I'm going to get some advice cards for you, pile number 2s. Let's see what they say. You got, the 6 of Wands. That is the card of victory. Success. We got the Queen of Wands. Follow your passions. Confidence, you need to increase your confidence, pile number 2 is one thing I'm seeing here. And then the World reversed. It's funny, pile number 1's got this card too. I swear I shuffled between piles, but the World reversed, okay. I'm getting the sense that maybe you think that this is the end of something and it's not. Especially because you got both the Fool and the World. They're both the beginning and the end, but also the end and the beginning of the decks, because, the Fool's Journey is like a 0. Like I said, it's infinity. It repeats, right? We're always a fool in the beginning, and then we learn, and then we're a fool with something else we try, and then we master it, and then, that's a cycle that repeats in our life. But your advice here with the World reversed is you're not at the end of something. So I think maybe because if you feel like you have been burned in the past, like let's say, just for example, if it is related to romance, you feel like, oh, romance isn't for me. I'm never going to try again. That part of my life is over, and I'm just, forget it. And they're saying not to lean into that energy of feeling that cycle or that aspect of your life is over, especially if you have been burned, because it's very easy after we experience pain or setbacks to feel like giving up, right? But they're saying not to give up here. And the Queen and 6 of Wands is interesting. A lot of fiery energy. That's passion. That's willpower, right? they're really saying that you do have the power deep down with this Queen of Wands and the Six of Wands to succeed. It's just that you don't believe it. Maybe that's another aspect of the Lantern and the Observe cards here is there's evidence around you that you would be successful in this area, but it's almost like because of that fear of change or that fear of trying again, you're ignoring the obvious signals that you are meant for trying again and like having confidence in yourself to attempt it is kind of what I'm seeing. Pile 2 is, yeah, it's not the end of the cycle here. You still have a lot left to give in this area and a lot more to receive in this area. A lot more victory, success. I'm going to ask them for one more card here, pile number 2s. I'm going to grab my deck here. Excuse me. All right. Spirits, could you give me from their spirit guides for pile number 2s another card of advice, please? How do they increase this confidence? Is that maybe one thing I could ask, please? What could they... Oh, well, okay. 7 of Wands reversed. Interesting. And then I'm going to have one more card here. Queen of Cups. You got a lot of reversed cups here. Alright. 1 memento. More advice. How do they increase their confidence? Okay. So we have the 7 of Wands reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed. They're asking for you to do a lot of emotional exploration here, pile number 2s. Specifically, when it comes to when you feel defensive about things. Like, for example, if there's a fear of change or trying again here, pile number 2s, perhaps like your immediate reaction is to think, well, defensively, like, well, it never worked in the past, so I'm not gonna try again. Or when reflecting on, how to go forward in the future with, some of the lessons that you learned from previous times that it didn't work out. There might even be a little bit of hesitation to even look at the lessons that you learned from those previous experiences. Because it's almost just like you don't even want to think about it because of the pain of the burned feeling. And I'm not saying that like these previous failures or things that didn't go to plan were your faults, like not at all, but they're saying, really pay attention deep down when you feel feelings of defensiveness regarding these past experiences that didn't go so well, pile number 2s. Because the question I asked the spirit guides of yours was, how do you increase your confidence? And I think it's because I'm trying to find the best way to word this. I'm sorry, I'm kind of hesitating a bit here for a second. Increasing your confidence by reducing defensiveness. I think you might realize that you didn't make as many mistakes as you thought you did. It's like there was more that was out of your hands, but you're not realizing that because you're having some struggle wanting to reflect on those times. It's almost like maybe pile 2s, you fear that more of what happened in the past was your fault than it actually was, and that's why there's a reluctance to want to reflect on it, because you just don't want to feel like, oh, well, if I just go there and reflect on it, I'm just going to, beat myself up over what I could have done better. But I think what your spirit guides are saying here, pile number 2, is there's a lot that was out of your hands, and the more that you reflect on this, the more you'll realize that actually you didn't have as much fault as you thought you did, and that will help increase your confidence and get you to that Queen of Wands, 6 of Wands energy here. Yeah, there's a lot of... So their advice to you, pile number 2, is to do more emotional exploration on these past failures or mistakes or bad experiences in this area that you're concerned about. Because this is a general reading, it'll be different for everybody, but there's a lot of, hence, your pile leader, there's a lot of observation here and a lot of things that need to have light shed on them, as painful as it is. But they're saying that it's not going to be as scary as you think it is. Like, the imagery that they're giving me, pile number 2, is almost like this is not all metaphorical, but it's like you're walking up to a cave with a lantern or a light, and you're like, what am I going to see when I shed that light into that darkness? Is there going to be a big scary monster growling at me with big teeth? Or is there going to be a cute little fluffy bunny hiding in there? And it's, your fear is that, yes, there's going to be a monster when I look back on that. But actually, I think what they're saying is it's not as scary to reflect on this as you think it is. So, general reading, that'll be different for everybody. It could be career for some of you, romance for some of you, family matters for others, etc. But in general, pile number 2s, don't be afraid to reflect and emotionally connect to the past. Like, don't just stuff it down. And you're going to find that there's a lot more there that's valuable to you than you thought that there was. And yes, like I said here with your tea leaf cards, good advice from a wise person. Pay attention to, there might be someone in your life that comes along that helps you on this journey, pile number 2s, that helps you reflect and kind of sees from an outside perspective, like, hey, like, I don't think it actually was your fault as much as you thought it was, or, I don't think there's anything that's wrong with you that you think there is, etc. Like, there'll be that impartial outside perspective that says, hey, this is how I see these past experiences of yours, and bring a little bit more clarity to you so that you can step more into that 6 of Wands, Queen of Wands energy of oh, okay, I'm confident now. Actually, maybe there were more victories than I thought there were. Maybe I really can handle this again, because maybe I'm not as bad, or I didn't make as many mistakes as I thought I did, right? And then you'll realize with the world reversed here that this phase of your life is not over, that there is hope for success in this area that you thought that there wasn't, because you beat yourself up too much by the way that you viewed the past. So yeah, look closer and observe more closely is a kind of a theme here, pile number 2s for you from your spirit guides. And yeah, listen to the advice of that wise person that comes along your way, okay? So, I hope that reading was helpful for you, my lovely pile number 2s. I hope to see you in a future video and or reading, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Hello, my awesome pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today. That is all about what your spirit guides want to tell you right now, right at the moment that you're watching this video. As you recall, the card used to help pick your pile was the card Surrender. So let's look at that card a little bit more closely here, pile 3s. So as you can see, the symbolism in this card is within the moon. I believe that's a waning crescent. The waning crescent moon here, you have a river flowing through a bunch of different hills. And, a river is a perfect symbol of surrender, because what does the water in a river do but surrender to the flow or the path that's already been paved out for it, right? Now, of course, the water over time does erode the shoreline of the river, and it can change its course, but most of the time we think of water or river as just flowing, right? Going with the flow is kind of the cliche term that we use, right? So I think at least one of your themes or messages from your spirit guides today, pile number 3s, is about going with the flow, or surrendering to something in terms of acceptance. So accepting what is, or accepting blessings coming into your life. We'll get more details here with your other cards, obviously, but you're being asked to go with the flow and surrender a bit more. So let's get more details. I'm going to set your tarot cards down here with me for a bit. We'll get to those at the end for some final details and advice, but let's go to your oracle cards. So your oracle card here, the Healing Spirits Oracle, is listen to the voice within when it persists. Listen to the voice within when it persists. So I don't know if lately you've been getting an inkling deep down, pile number 3s, about something. It could be in many different areas. It could be related to, because this is a general reading, everyone's going to be different, but it could be related to job, career, it could be related to romance, it could be related to your family, some sort of area in your life where there's something that maybe you haven't been listening to deep down, but your spirit guides are asking you to listen to it. That could be perhaps where the acceptance or surrender is coming in, where you're just not listening to yourself enough, and they're asking you to kind of lean into that energy more of like putting your ear to a seashell, but instead of, a seashell, it's like putting more of an ear to your heart a bit. Maybe as corny as that sounds, but putting more of an ear to your heart and hearing what it says in terms of what you want or what you think about certain events in your life. Let's look at your other cards first here. So your tea leaves are chair filled. Someone new is entering your life, and bird flying. News is on the way. All right, pile threes. So there's some sort of new person coming into your life here. I'm not sure in what area. We'll kind of see that later. And news is on the way. So I don't know if you've been waiting for a message of some sort, pile threes. Could be a letter in the mail. Could be you're waiting on feedback from something. Maybe interviews for a job or dating with someone or some area where you're kind of sitting there biting your fingernails a bit waiting for an answer. Okay, so that's kind of another aspect of your reading today. Let's look at your other oracle cards. First, we have surrender, obsessive thinking. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. Maybe you've been having a lot of anxious thinking lately, pile number threes. Maybe that's where the surrender is coming in and listening to the voice within when it persists. You're not listening to yourself deep down enough, and you're letting surface level worries or obsessive thoughts, anxious thoughts kind of cover or take over more than they should. And then you've got inner integration. There is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect that life has on us. So yeah, integrating the inner wild, a lot of wild thoughts. It almost seems like maybe there's an aspect to you, pile number threes, where, at times, like, you think that you've got things down pat, or like life seems like it's going okay, but then you go through these anxious patterns or these anxious periods of time where a lot of your logical thinking gets obscured by these anxious thoughts, and it maybe gets kind of hard to control them, hence like the obsessive thinking. So if you have been finding yourself obsessively thinking about something lately, Spirit is saying, here, like it says, if you're obsessing about a person or a situation, turn the dilemma over to Spirit. And doing so will bring you clarity or even solve the problem. So could be if there's like a romantic thing that you're obsessing over, they're asking you to kind of pull a little bit farther back on that. Same thing, like, if you're looking at jobs right now, like you're in a job search and you're obsessively thinking about, will I get the job? Pull back on that a little bit, because these anxious thoughts, whatever the topic that they're specifically about, depends, it's a general reading, so everyone's going to be different, like I said. They're obscuring your logical mind a little bit too much, and like I said before, with like listening to your heart a bit more, they're also obscuring your heart and maybe what you feel and what you actually think deep down. Let me look at your inner integration here too for 1 second. Sorry for the silence. Peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect that life has on us. I don't know if you might be helped asking advice too from different generations in your family or people from different generations here, because this is also like a generational card. You see, it's, well, a single woman at different phases of her life, but maybe if you're struggling with not knowing where to go with something right now, or this obsessive thing that you've been thinking about, I would say lean a little bit more on wisdom from either people that are older than you in your family or your friend groups, as well as potentially people that are younger, because there's a lot of wisdom we can gain from people that are at different stages of their life than us. Most of the time when we think of someone who is very wise, we think of someone who's older, right? Because they've lived, long enough to have experience to know how to handle things. So that can also be, always be helpful to go to someone has been in your shoes before and that can maybe help guide you through this time of obsessive thinking. But another thing is actually people that are younger than us can offer a lot of wisdom too in terms of the things that we've forgotten. So this relates a lot to what's called inner child work, right? And your inner child is kind of who you are underneath all the layers that society has put on you and all the other psychological things that have happened to you over your life that have obscured that pure, happy, joy-seeking child that we all were at once in our life. So, perhaps there is a child in your life that, obviously you don't want to go to them with a really big problem and worded in the way like, hey, I'm having dating problems or something, child, give me some advice, because the child's going to be like, oh, I don't know, but they don't know how to think about those things quite as complexly, obviously, depending on their age. But it could be that this younger person that they're asking you to seek out or just spend some time with here in your family, maybe it could be like, if you have children, one of your children, it could be like a nephew or a niece, etc., just someone younger than you, who can help you re-find that hope or that light in the way that how a child views a world with that more not so jaded way of thinking. And hence, maybe that even is that voice down that they're saying for you to listen to the voice within when it persists, is you reconnecting with that inner child deep down through the help of a physical child in your life, reminding you what it's like to look at life through a joyful lens, and surrendering to accepting joy and seeing wonder in life again, and not so much seeing it as this thing to be anxious about or to worry over all the time. I mean, because think about children, right? How often do they actually, of course it depends on the child, right? But how often do they actually worry as much as adults do over things? If they have a setback, obviously, the child will, like let's say they trip and they scab their knee or something, obviously they're going to cry about it for a bit because it hurts, but most of the time they're going to get right back up and they're going to go play on the playground again, right? So yeah, just think about how maybe you yourself at the age of like, let's say 5, and maybe you yourself at the age of, let's say like, at an older age than you are right now, be that, 50, 70, etc., how different versions of yourself would view the situation that you're in where you're obsessively thinking about something. That's some advice I'm seeing here from spirit guides for you, pile number 3s. Because, it's funny because with your surrender card too, often the wisdom that we lose between, like after we're children is how to surrender. A lot about our adult lives is how do we control the things around us to create security and our path through life. But children really just kind of accept things, right? They just kind of surrender to the flow. So I guess to summarize overall, pile number 3s is to lean into that energy more here. Yeah, listen to that voice within when it persists. And surrender obsessive thinking. Because I think a lot of that surface level anxiety is hiding a lot of wisdom and opportunities for more peace deep down. And obviously, anxiety isn't easy to get over. I 100% understand that as someone who also has a lot of anxiety sometimes. It's a struggle I've had in my life lesson of my own, but, Spirit is acknowledging that. But they're asking you to lean into that surrender energy a little bit more and not worry so much about things as much as possible as you're able to kind of help yourself do so. Obviously, I have tarot cards for you too that'll be some advice on how to do that. But now, this second message here with chair filled and bird flying, someone new is entering your life and news is on the way. I'm kind of interested in what this is a little bit more specifically, pile number 3s. So for you, and just for you today, I'm going to use my Lenormand because I want to get more concrete details on what that is, this new person entering your life. Like I said, obviously it is a general reading, but I'm spoiling you. Don't tell the other piles, but I'm spoiling you guys today with Lenormand on top of the other cards, but it's our secret, right? Spirit, could you give me a Lenormand reading for this situation here with someone new entering pile 3's life and the news on the way? How about someone new entering their life? Can you tell me more about that? What's that related to? 3 cards, please. We're going to spoil pile number 3 today. Something about a woman. Okay, there's a woman in your life coming along. Female energy, or at least feminine. The scythe, a sudden, and then the star. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Lenormand, it's a system like tarot where the meanings are always kind of the same. It's like an actual, like you can study it. But Lenormand is a little bit more blunt, and the way I always read Lenormand is like each is a word in a sentence that Spirit is telling you. So your spirit guides are telling you this new person, pile number 3 is a feminine energy that gives swift guidance, or hope, or a way to go. Or it's like they come into your life swiftly at the right moment to give you guidance where you need it. So that's that new person entering your life, likely feminine energy. So probably, not always, but it could be, generally for most of you, it's going to be a woman in your life, right? Someone with feminine energy. Could be mother, sister, etc. Yeah, swift guidance. Yeah, they're going to help you find a path through this, through an issue that you've been having, pile number 3s. I also want to ask about this news on the way. Spirit, can you give me, well, here, I'm going to put these back in, so, because the other message they might give you is related to this, probably. So it might repeat cards. I don't want to have the cards outside of the pile. Let me shuffle a bit, and then we'll get to your tarot cards. I just want more juicy details. Spirit, can you tell me, what is this news on the way for pile 3s? What's this related to generally for a general reading? What's this news on the way? Okay, that one for sure. Ooh, luck. That is great. The clover. Okay. The holly tree, health, groundedness, family, and then we have the mountain. So this news on the way, pile number 3s, is something to do with luck regarding your family where there was an obstacle before. So there's some obstacle related to your family, or it could also be your where you've put down roots, so like your home situation, that you're going to get luck in this area. So it could be your family or your home. I'm seeing family for most of you because this is the tree. Also, this is the holly tree, which is winter. I'm seeing something about winter month here. So at the time I'm recording this, it is a winter month where I am, but of course these readings are always timeless. So depending on when you view this, expect maybe a winter timing for this, and it's luck regarding an obstacle with your family. That's the news that's on the way for you, okay? All right, I'm going to put these away, and then we will get to your tarot cards. Sorry, we had a little bit of an aside from the anxious thinking section of your reading, but I did want to get you more details on that because I thought it might be helpful for you, pile number 3s. Okay, I'm putting these decks away. All right, let's get to your actual tarot cards. Excuse me, I'm going to shuffle in my chair if you hear some clinking noises. All right, we have... Let's look here. All right, so the situation at hand. We have the Hanged Man reversed. Death reversed. And we have the 5 of Cups reversed. Okay. Yeah, we're coming from a time here, pile number 3s, or you are, you're moving out of a time of grief. You're moving out of a time of sadness or depression. The 5 of Cups is usually a time of grief, but reversed, it's like you're finally moving away from that energy. You're not out of the weeds quite yet with whatever this thing is that you've been worrying about a lot, pile number 3s, hence death reversed, because death reversed is there hasn't been change yet. But you are getting past, like you're starting to get that energy of moving beyond whatever this thing that you've been worrying about is. And part of that, of course, with your oracle cards is surrendering to some of the wisdom of others around you, and also your deep wisdom deep down underneath the anxious thinking. So it could be that maybe you, what's the word? I'm probably going to mispronounce it, I'm sorry. Catastrophize? Is that how you pronounce it? I think maybe you lean towards thinking that catastrophizes things or makes... I don't want to say it's not like you make a big deal out of nothing, because that's not true. I mean, obviously everything that we worry about is important to us, but it's like you worry more than you have to, and so like, it muddies your perspective of things, hence the Hangman reversed. And the reason they're telling you to let go of that more is so that you can deal with the thing that life throws, or deal with the things that life throws at you a bit more. And so you're not always just beating yourself up and being so anxious all the time, getting a new perspective on life. So there is energy here of you're starting to move out of that pile number 3s. So I think you've already made progress in this area. It's just that your spirit guides want you to know that the full change isn't here yet, hence death reverse. Like, the change hasn't been met. You're not quite past this phase, but you're getting there. And it's all about shifting your perspective here with the Hangman reversed. It's about not conforming to the ways that we have thought before and surrendering, like your pile leader says, accepting new ways of thinking and new ways of viewing life here. Let me look at your advice cards, your other tarot cards. You received the 6 of Wands, so that's victory. Okay. We have the Hermit reversed, coming out of our shells a bit more. Because normally the Hermit upright is about hiding away and thinking internally. I think you have been already thinking a lot about this pile number 3s in terms of like how you want to move out of this anxious thinking. And then you got the Page of Swords, okay. Insight, okay. Look for people in your life that have already had victory in the same area that you're struggling with. Pile number 3s is one piece of advice I'm hearing for you from your spirit guides. Because the 6 of Wands is victory, and the Page of Swords is like gaining insight. And I get that sense that they're someone maybe a little bit older than you, like not quite your age. And then the Hermit reversed is coming out of your shell, or coming into the light with new wisdom from a time of it could be, so before with your Lenormand, we talked about there was a feminine energy to give you guidance. I think this is someone that has come out of hiding in your life, so to speak. Like, maybe they were gone for a while and they just came back. And that's the person that they're asking you to look for advice from, pile number 3s. I think that was just kind of an intuition thing that clicked there, especially with your Lenormand that we pulled earlier. Someone that has come out of hiding with their own insight, hence the Hermit. And someone who is already a little bit versed in this area and has had victory in this area. So the indication for you, pile 3s, is whatever it is that you're worrying about, look for a feminine energy person in your life who has already went through this that you can go and get advice from. And that will help you get rid of that anxious thinking so that you can listen more to how to move forward in life without and surrender and accept blessings that are coming your way. I'm gonna ask another question from Spirit. 1 second. I have a lot of inclination to pull more cards for you today, pile 3s. I'm getting the sense. I want to ask, here's a second. I'm gonna shuffle a little bit. Spirit, can you tell me, I'm trying to think the best way to word this. 1 second. What is it that pile number 3 needs to surrender to? Can you tell me? What is it, this thing that they need to accept into their life more, surrender to? Okay, let's get a card or two at least. The 3 of Swords reversed. Moving on from pain. Okay, and then one more card. We have the 9 of Swords. Oh, anxiety. Yeah, you have a lot of anxiety, pile number 3. So you've got the card of anxiety. You've got the card of moving on from pain, and you also got surrender obsessive thinking. Yep, the thing you need to surrender to is not letting anxiety pull you down so hard, pile 3s, because that will help you by overcoming that slaying that monster, so to speak, of the anxious part of you that overthinks and is really worried about things all the time. That will help you overcome pain so that you can move forward in life less encumbered and less burdened by your mind being obsessive about things that it doesn't need to worry about, okay? That's what they're telling you, pile threes. They want you to move forward in the future with less pain so that there's less of a burden as you go forward. Yeah, and look to that person, that feminine energy that's coming into your life, pile threes, to help you overcome this. So that because that's another thing that they want to tell you, is that you're not alone, and it's not a weakness to rely on other people in your life, because a lot of times you didn't get the card for it from this deck, the Lantern Oracle. Not sponsored, but I love this Oracle deck. This is fantastic. I always recommend it. So if you buy decks, get the Lantern Oracle. Fantastic. Not sponsored. But another card in this deck is Giving and Receiving, I think it's called, or Sharing and Giving. And the message of that card, even though you didn't get it in this particular reading, is there's giving and receiving, and there's receiving and giving. So I think maybe a lot of times we think when we go to other people and we ask them for help that we're burdening them. But actually, when you ask people for help, of course, if they're a good person, and they're willing to help, we're giving them a compliment. We're saying to them, hey, I trust you to help me in this area in my life, and I trust your wisdom, and, I value your experience in this area, and I kind of need your help and maybe some mentorship in this thing that I've been worrying about. Because that's kind of a confidence boost. Because think of times when people have come to you for advice. How does that make you feel? Let me just think about it. You feel pretty good, right? You're like, oh, wow, they came to me for advice? Wow, I mean, I feel kind of like an expert. I feel like they trust me. So that's also a gift that you give to other people when you let them help you. So this feminine energy coming into your life, don't feel like you're burdening them. Feel like that, you're also helping them. Because like that card says, which, like I said, you didn't get it today, but it is from this Lantern Oracle that this card is from. There's giving and receiving, and there's receiving and giving. Let's see if any other messages pop out here for you, pile number threes. Yeah, they want you to surrender more and not worry so much. To be able to listen to your heart deep down, because it's like your mind kind of has you in this anxious like anxiety prison all the time with whatever the thing is that you've been worrying about. Yeah, and look to other people in your life that have been through this experience before, especially that feminine energy person that's coming in, to help you kind of think about life in a different way, to get that new perspective. All right. Well, I think that is all the messages today. Pile number threes. Remember to, when this person comes into your life, listen to their wisdom, ask them for their wisdom, because even though you might be inclined to think that asking them for help is a burden, it actually can help them feel like they're more accomplished and that you trust them. And it's a high compliment to be asked for advice, right? So that you can surrender to the flow of life more. And it's easier for you to walk through your life more, and you're not so weighed down by anxiety. Pile threes, because your spirit guides here are saying that they're empathizing a lot with the pain that this has inflicted on you, and they want you to be able to move past it. Yeah. Actually, one more card. I'm sorry. I keep saying that's the last card, and then I'm like, one more card. Spirit, can you give me just one more card of advice for pile number threes, please? Moving past this anxiety. We talked about the woman or feminine energy coming into the... okay, two of them. So the Lovers reversed. So actually two came out. And the Seven of Wheels or Pentacles reversed. Okay. Hesitation with making a choice. I think for some of you this is romantic. For some of you this is related to work, because the Lovers is kind of, what it says on the tin. The Seven of Wheels or Pentacles is about work. It's about planting seeds here. The reason why you're being asked to do this is because it will help you plant seeds for the future, pile number threes. Because the less that you are weighed down by anxieties in the future, the more easily you'll be able to move through your life. And it'll create more fertile ground for you to have more success in your life by getting over this anxiety. And that's why you're being asked by your spirit guides, okay? And it will give you more options for choice in the future, pile 3s, to, because, a lot of times when we're anxious, we hold ourselves back, right? And when we alleviate those anxieties, we open up more paths and choices for us because we're not so worried about what ifs or hows or shoulds, right? We're more willing just to see what paths are open to us and, hey, look, surrender, right? Surrendering to the blessings that are being offered to us. But if we're stuck down in anxiety, sometimes we don't even see those options that are before us. So that's the reason why the spirit guides are speaking to you on this today, pile number 3s. They want you to see what opportunities are coming in your future that otherwise, with your anxiety, obsessive thinking mind, you might not perceive. Yeah. Okay, so pile number 3s, I hope that reading was helpful for you today. As always, I hope to see you in another reading at some point, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.